YouTube as you will be viewing this. Um, but I'm also known for being a Minecraft content creator. I have, in my personal opinion, been a bit pissed off recently about how most people are when it comes to how popular Tommy Innit, Tubbo, Dream, George Not Found, and other content creators in the Dream SMP era are. I feel like it. I feel like they got an unfair start, but I also think that's just when they started. That's how they got it, and that's where I kind of have to deal with that. But recently, Rambo posted a video about how his channel no longer feels like Rambo, and I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really watched his channel for a while, mostly because he's strayed away from the Minecraft content, so I haven't really had a huge reason to tune into his content, like, at all. But also with that, um, I would just like to mention that I I know, like, for a fact that um I know for a fact that like I feel like the content creator space has been ultimately edited by the Dream SMP content creators, Tommy, Tubbo, and as well Rambo, Dream, George Not Found, Sapnap, and many more. In my own personal opinion, they got an unfair start, and I want to talk about how they got that unfair start and why other people will not get that unfair start ever in the future unless something again happens, which I'll bring up soon, actually. I'll bring up now. COVID 19. 2020 and 2019 were the beginning phases of COVID 19, and they were streaming in that point. People were locked in their homes, having nothing else better to do other than, well, watch content creators on YouTube and Twitch and other platforms. So when they started being this often occurrence on the space, what else would they do other than watch them? They had nothing better to do. And it just it doesn't seem like a huge thing until you really look back and realize that is when they blew up. They blew up because of COVID 19. Without this pandemic, they probably wouldn't be in the place that they are now. I mean, Dream, maybe he'd be in the place, but I don't think Tommy or Tubbo or Wilbur or anyone like that who got big off of the Dream SMP would. I don't think they would ever be in the space that they are currently in because they just weren't there. The pandemic didn't happen. People were very busy in school, in their work. It was just a time where people had nothing better to do other than watch content. With that, I'm gonna be honest. I kind of wish I started making content back in 2020. I started this year in 2025. Well, I say this year, last year, 2025, and it's for a long time I disliked 2025 because it wasn't my strongest year in content creation. But also, the main reason I wish I started all of that content making in 2020 was because there were people like Rambo who was 16 at the time. I was like, I don't even know how old I'm 16 now. I'll be 17, so I would have been 9, maybe 10 when Dream SMP was going around. And I'm gonna be honest, that wouldn't have been a huge issue for the SMP considering they had people like Tommy in it on their server. I could have gone there, and Tommy probably would have been really happy that I was younger than him. But what I will also say again, this is still just the luckiest year to be a Minecraft content creator because Minecraft as a game was blowing up. People wanted to see it again. People got interested in what Dream was doing in his manhunt. So then Dream slowly realized that he literally had spent no time exploring the Nether update. and then Dream SMP, Jesus Christ, I'm dumb. Dream SMP blew up, and people started watching more Minecraft. People started being more interested, and I was one of those people that got kind of inspired by Dream SMP. I've always wanted to start a huge lore-based SMP, especially when Wilbur joined and he completely scripted the idea. Like it was his idea to script the Dream SMP. Like the idea of making it story-based was in the plans after the Disc saga started, but also Wilbur was the first person to actually script the SMP, and that's one reason I still support Wilbur Soot. I will be honest, I'm gonna say something that not many people, when it comes to the Wilbur Soot drama, actually say, which is separate the art from the artist. I like listening to Wilbur's band, Lovejoy, and his solo music on his Wilbur Soot account on Spotify. Right, I love them both. They are both my types of music in a different way. Like I like the messy, bad vocals on his main solo stuff, but I also really like his rock stuff on Lovejoy. One thing I can say for sure is that I've been completely inspired by every person on the SMP in a different way. I mean I mean by every person that was on from the beginning to the end of the Lamberg saga. The Lamberg saga was probably my favorite piece, and every now and then I still go back and watch Wilberset's point of view because, let's be honest, watching a corrupted president destroy his own country was fucking hilarious for the time. One thing I can also say, sorry if this sounds a bit shaky, by the way, it is cold in my room. I have shut my window. One thing I will say is the reason I'm faceless is because of people like Dream, Rambo. Who else is faceless on the SMP? I think for a while Fundy was. I think Fundy face revealed while on the SMP. I don't know, but it got me thinking about what if I was Minecraft content creating, because I recently watched that most recent Rambo video up on YouTube, and it really did make me think for a long time, like, how does he feel about the SMP? We all know how Tommy feels and how maybe Tubbo feels. Tubbo isn't fully against talking to Dream, as we've seen in like the last, I don't know, couple years, around when the time that the Dream and Tommy drama was happening. Like he got on a call with Dream and he started mediating, being the middleman, which I think was just awesome, by the way. Um, but I just wanted to bring this up because it it makes me think, like, because I would have been 9 or 10 at the time, and Tommy was like 12 or something. I don't know how old he was. He's like 2 years older than me or something. He would have been around 12, maybe 13, possibly 14. I think he was. I think he was nearing 14 actually. But it just made me think. So when lockdown started in March of 2020, as I've recently been informed, 13th of March 2020, when that lockdown started, I was going through a phase of insane depression and like self hatred and self. I was just always by myself. I didn't feel like I actually had any friends because I never went out during that time. The only time I would ever go out was when I went out with my family for like doctor appointments, opticians, and that kind of stuff. Never once went out to hang out with my friends. And I mean never once. It was a very lonely life. 2022, I believe, around 2021, I literally didn't hang out with my friends at all. And the reason being, I didn't really like a lot of what my friends were doing. Like, we all know that in the UK, there are roadmen, so they call themselves that. They're wannabes that definitely cannot make it as a roadman. But it's something that I would just say, like, I stayed in. I was one of those people that stayed in. I went on Twitch once, and I mean once. I saw on YouTube that people were talking about this new streaming platform called Twitch, and was like, oh, maybe I should check it out. Maybe I should really like see what it's like. The first person I had ever watched on Twitch was Tommy Innit on the Dream SMP, and I had no idea who he was. He was a really loud, annoying, childish person. I was like, I want to look for someone I can look up to rather than just be like, oh, I can be better than him in the future. Because I have always dreamed about being a content creator, and now I'm actually doing it. But I went onto YouTube not amazingly long later, and it was like maybe a month or two later, and I saw people like I just saw like commentating YouTubers talking about the Dream SMP and about how it was making a huge impact on the Minecraft community. And I was like, I've heard that person's voice before. I looked into the description, found out the name was Tommy in it, recognized Tom, didn't recognize me in it. Never recognized that until I clicked on his channel and recognized the face in the previews of the videos. That is where I realized this really was the time to just sit around, watch YouTube, and enjoy some normal Minecraft content because I had always been watching Dan TDM, Markiplier's old videos on, um, like I don't know when he uploaded them, but I know for a fact that I watched them. Like I watched all of them after they came out. 8-Bit Ryan as well. He got into some Minecraft gaming, so I just watched a lot of their content in Minecraft because I really missed the old Dan to the M, and Dan to the M was slowing down. Obviously, he was getting closer and closer to being old, and he's still going, which really surprises me sometimes. But he also was someone that eventually made a collab with Tommy Innit, and I'm gonna be honest, I was one of those people that always supported Tommy Innit after I watched like maybe 3 or 4 of his videos. I mean, his intros weren't lying. He was an annoying child, but I could also see where people were getting the entertainment from. The loud entertainment idea was very much big at this point in time, and it was just it was awesome. So around like I don't know when, but like maybe 2022 when like I think that was around when lockdown stopped. I don't know, we were in lockdown for a while. I can't fucking remember. But whenever lockdown stopped, I knew for a fact that that was just my new content group. I would just watch them all the time and just dream of get it dream. I would just dream of being like that one day and being a Minecraft content creator. And then slowly did I realize that people were actually talking about how there is a storyline to it. And I saw Wilbur join. I witnessed the first upload of involving Wilbur in Tommy and its channel, and I was just like, oh, that that would be cool to go check out. Wilbur sounds like a nice guy. Then I found out he did an ARG, and so I looked more into Wilbur's past and realized he was not only a streamer and Minecraft content creator, but he was also a normal musician. He just made music as well. Off to the side, he was more about the Minecraft content to me, but it was something I very much enjoyed. I like the idea of being a musician and also being a streamer at the same time, having 2 forms of income, and also the fact that he was a YouTuber made it basically infinitely better in my point of view, which got me inspired on playing guitar. I now am learning guitar very slowly, but at some point I'll probably try and do something for you guys. I don't know if I become a musician, I will probably upload my music up on YouTube before I ever put it out on Spotify. But anyways, he inspired me to play guitar because I listened to a lot of his music and realized he's not bad and he's not amazingly good, but that's kind of what I was looking for in a musician that just didn't exist. Wilbur was becoming slowly one of my favorite content creators, and he became in my top three. My top three going around at the time being Dan to the M, Captain Sparkles, which I don't even watch anymore, then with him. And then Wilbur slowly took over Captain Sparkles, and he was very much nearing the point where I considered nostalgia worthy. He was basically worth seeing like him in the future as like a much older me looking back at what I used to watch, and whether or not questioning it, I have no idea, but definitely being interested in the idea of content creation and especially expanding that, being more and more interested. So with that, in around 2023, maybe 4, I started a channel, not this one. I started a channel under a completely different name and a completely different profile, and I showed my face. I'll be honest. There are still videos out there with my face on them, but I'm gonna tell you now. I'm gonna keep the comment section clean of that, and I'm also gonna I'm gonna keep every little detail as subtle as possible because I did a lot of IRL stuff there. I did Minecraft Bedrock because I was making videos on my Xbox using a footage tool that I had downloaded on my phone and using the Xbox app to stream my Xbox screen to my phone and using that as my phone as well as a webcam. And I was standing up playing the game, and it wasn't really my thing. I slowly realized that I didn't really like playing Bedrock Minecraft nearly as much as I used to, because I slowly realized everyone else, every other streamer, every other content creator were making videos and streaming on completely different versions. I slowly realized, I also figured out, I keep saying realized, I figured out that they were making content on a version called Java. I had never heard of this at the time, which was crazy considering I'd been watching Dan to DM be playing Minecraft on Java Edition for years, but I had never heard of two versions of Minecraft. So when I got a laptop that Christmas after I started my YouTube channel, I moved over to Java Edition and I used Streamlabs for a very long time to stream on YouTube. I look back on that time badly now, but I'm gonna be honest. I don't think there were any issues with me being a content creator or anything like that. I don't think there were any issues at all. But it was the fact that I was highly bullied for being so open on camera and just choosing to be myself. It it wasn't a good past, I wouldn't say. Um, but I also wouldn't say that I'm very fond of it at all now. I actually kind of hate that past channel. I deleted as many videos of it as possible, announced I was quitting, and moved over to this one basically immediately because I wanted to keep making content, but I also wanted to do it in a way that was safe for me. And school didn't feel safe, which caused me to go into a lot deeper depression, and I started hating myself a bit more. I also slowly realized my dad didn't like the idea of me just being a YouTuber or streamer, and he kept on saying you need to have a backup plan. You need to have something to fall back on. You should only do YouTube and Twitch as a hobby, right? And he started basically moderating my stream. He basically banned me from being able to stream on Twitch, so I had to focus on streaming on YouTube because I knew for a fact he didn't follow that. He got mad at me at the idea of me swearing. So that channel was child friendly. He doesn't know about this channel at all. My mum does, but my dad has no clue about this one because I don't feel like he'll actually support me. And I've brought up the idea of continuing content creation like later on in the future, but I've never actually said I still stream or upload on YouTube on a completely different account because I know for a fact that he won't be as supportive as he wants to be. But he's also trying to make sure I stay on my own path, and so I have got an entire plan. My plan currently is to be working every like even after college, during college, which is like only a year away now, I'm going to be like, I'm gonna basically come back to home, maybe stream once a week, maybe twice a week if I have the time available from that job and college, and then I'll basically stop for a while, come back another week, do one or two streams, then that loop. Because I also know for it, like, even if I do eventually become really popular to the point where I have, say, I'm like 1,000, like 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, and maybe like 200,000 ish on like followers on Twitch. I don't think I would ever quit that job unless I got fired. And even then, I would still look for a normal job because, uh, although YouTube and Twitch would be bringing in a lot of money at that point, I wouldn't say that it's smart. I recently I've seen like Caveman Films get evicted from his studio apartment somewhere out in the US because he he realized his fans and the algorithm were working completely differently and completely against him. He wasn't uploading something he enjoyed anymore, which is Manaf. He was uploading Manaf basically every other day, and he eventually got a job at Best Buy. Which it seeing those videos come out slowly that he was in a difficult position really upset me, and this was around the time I was still under my old name. So I chose to try and support him. I watched around like 15 videos that I had no interest in twice, meaning I was watching content I had no interest in, literally none. There was some granny episode. I watched that twice to give him some more support, and as much as I wanted to, he did set up a GoFundMe so people could fund him, but I couldn't donate any money. I mean, I literally had no money at the time, so it was basically sorry, but I'm gonna support you this way instead because this is the best way for me to be able to support you. It's probably not the best way entirely for him to get supported, but ultimately he still got a lot of money, but he wasn't able to stay. So he moved in with his friend. And I thought about it, and I never want to be put in that situation. Seeing a YouTuber that I've watched for years go through that issue, it made me realize I didn't want to even have that thought process. I didn't want to have to think about possibly being evicted from my home. So I was always going to do something like work in retail somewhere and work in that area for a long time, if not forever, until I eventually retire from it, and that'll be way after I retire from YouTube and Twitch. At that point, I might even be face revealed, who knows? But I would basically say no. I didn't want to be in that situation, so it made me think. Anyways, back into the Dream SMP era. It they were really lucky for the pandemic to happen. It's like I do see Wilbur still making content on his completely separate channel called, I think it's just called Wilbur actually. And he still has his old content uploaded on his old channel Wilbur Soot. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm liking his newer content as well. It slowly made me realize that I quite enjoy the idea of him being like this geography teacher online. I now have an unofficial geography teacher because I went off and still chose to support him. And it's not just supporting him, really. It's also telling me stuff around the world. Like there is footage of him going out to a orange thing he saw on Google Maps, and he's set up a he's continuously set up this GoFundMe to get it cut open and removed from the ocean because he doesn't want to have to go like he doesn't want he cares about the sea. But that is basically it. He cares about the sea, he cares about the ocean. That's all he really needed to deal with. And ultimately, with that, he made me like actually enjoy geography, which feels weird to say. I hate geography with like a passion, but he made me start enjoying it ever so slightly enough to watch him every upload. What also what it also reminded me of was how he got big off of something and then also had to deal with people accusing him constantly and just saying that his side of the story wasn't enough. Um and it kind of pissed me off. I saw people constantly trying to destroy him, and even though there was nothing I could really do, I kind of had to deal with that. I ultimately, in the end, decided that I was going to yet again continue supporting him because he'd gone through dealing with the Dream SMP era, being one of the many lucky YouTubers and streamers to he was a really popular person in the Minecraft community, and I wouldn't say I regret ever watching one of his videos or streams. I When the QSMP came around, the QSMP is Quackity's Minecraft server, which I don't see anything on anymore. Um, but he, when that came around, that was when I started actually trying consistently to tune into every Twitch stream because he had this egg called Tallulah, and I genuinely liked the idea of having a Minecraft egg child called Tallulah in a Minecraft server quite close to this point. I named a dog Tallulah because I just felt like Tallulah was. It felt like Tallulah was a bit of a creation to make his fans that were really inspired by his musical and streaming like artistic stuff. It made me feel like we were being seen and that we'd eventually be seen forever. But of course, his allegations got that completely destroyed, and that is one reason I kind of hate Quackity. It also kind of told me that maybe not everyone is the same way you see them on camera. That's what really solidified that idea for me. I know Tommy in it isn't actually the way he was seen on camera, especially now that he's grown up. He's much different in his recordings, and I'm still yet to watch his New Year's video because it's just not. It's not who I got used to seeing, and I do need to get used to seeing him this way because this is him now. This is Tommy. Tommy is now more mature. He feels a lot more like a Dan TDM, which is really weird. He's not making nearly as much Minecraft content, but I know he wants to. I know he wants to make more Minecraft content, stream a bit more maybe, I don't know. But he's not the same kid. Like Dan TDM had made a video saying you're not kids anymore, and I was just kind of sad that like yeah, we're not, and we've probably experienced one of the I would like to say one of the worst pandemics that the world had probably ever seen, but I don't know that for sure. I haven't looked at the facts, and ultimately having like seen that, witnessed the fact like every now and then I would go into my living room and watch my mum or at my dad's house I would see my dad watching the news and just being told on the screen by these people that had actually done research that a couple like thousand were dying basically every week. It terrified me, especially because I now have been diagnosed with Crohn's since the 23rd of December for a year. So I've been diagnosed with Crohn's for a long time now. My brother, I'm not going to say his real name, but my brother has been diagnosed for longer. He's been diagnosed for maybe 6 years now with Crohn's, and not only that, but also on top of that, having autism, me and my brother again, and Sushi, who made this VTuber, thanks again. Um, having made the content, like having like made his autism quite public in his own Twitch content, it like a lot of people were dealing with a lot of different stuff. It what lockdown gave me was was the loss of will to live and depression, which I'm gonna get deeply personal here, but I have very much a- attempted taking my own life. It wasn't something I like initially planned out. I didn't plan for it, but I attempted. And when I tell people that, sometimes they're like, "Oh, well, you're bullshitting because we know you, and we actually doubt you'd have the guts to do that." My mum and my dad never found out. My dad doesn't talk to me enough to know how I'm actually feeling, and my mum, well, was just really good at hiding things from her. I've just gotten really good at that because I used to steal food out the cabinets in the middle of the night and lie about it, like basically professionally. That was like my sport. But that's what I got from lockdown, and also anxiety. Anxiety came along with the depression, and only really made me feel more depressed because I realized how socially awkward I'd become. I used to be so talkative, so open, and then lockdown happened. I changed, a lot of my friends changed, and I didn't really like. I didn't like myself. I will be honest. I don't like the way I look right now. Um, I don't like my weight. I am a bit overweight. I will be honest. Um, but I don't like those stuff. I don't like those things about me. And I've also been bullied for many things. Like I've shown you guys on stream and recording before. I have long hair. I've been bullied for having long hair in secondary school, which I'm gonna be honest, it was actually really easy to defend myself with that because it was a personal preference and I actually really like my long hair. But I kept on second guessing my own personal emotions and feelings about who I was and who I wanted to become to the point where I did ultimately attempt taking my own life. Um, but I know, I I know that people also have attempted that recently, more recently maybe. I have a friend that doesn't live entirely too far away from me that attempted twice because his little brother passed away. Um, and like that does sadden me. It does upset me to know, but I also understand it. Um, because around uh, God, I can't remember what year it was. We were in year 4. Me and Sushi met in year 4 because I had moved house due to my parents' divorce. I had moved, and I in the process I had lost one of my best friends because well, I have contact with them now, but I had lost one of my best friends because I at the time didn't have any contact with them. I had actually lost my girlfriend at the time. Me and her broke up because of the move. We literally had no form of talking to each other than both our older brothers being friends and every now and then being on phone calls, which my older brother no longer actually talks to that guy anymore. But also different older brother. It's not the same autistic one with Crohn's. Um, he's the middle brother. The middle brother. He obviously I eventually became friends with other people, and I'm still friends with some of his friends' younger siblings, but that's just how things go. Um, in year 4, I would say was I love how this has gone on to a rant. Um, basically in year 4, I I experienced the first time of feeling socially anxious. I didn't like the idea of talking to people. The first person I talked to was uh we'll call him H, just because why not? Um, I basically sat down on the carpet because just had that um we just had that there. And he basically, his first question, like, the first sentence he had ever said to me was, "Do you think my hands look big?" And he basically put up his hands. I was like, okay, weird topic to start this off with. He was like, "I've been told like several times by my friends that my hands look big." I was like, yeah, yeah, they are a bit big. But then I got told where I was sitting, and like in the seating plan for the classroom, and I got set next to Sushi. Sushi basically talked to me the entire time, with every now and then just like listening to the teacher, and we would. He, I for the first break of my first day at the new school, he showed me around. Not, I didn't have like one day where I was just alone. Luckily, thanks Sushi. Um, but he would show me around, and I would say within like the first month, I got a girlfriend somehow. I mean, the girl barely knew me, but and I he also introduced Sushi also introduced me to some people that I'm still friends with now. Um, let's call one of them uh L L E L E. There you go. That should give Sushi at least enough information to take a guess at who it is. Um, but he introduced me to people like that, and I'm still friends with them now in ways. It's it got very complicated in year six, but um, basically, I probably wouldn't even be on YouTube or Twitch at the moment if it wasn't for Sushi giving me some form of actual hope in year four. But eventually, that hope, with some saving grace, thankfully, got broken in 2020 because of lockdown. And the it's just got. This has really just turned into a rant. Back to the actual subject that I wanted to talk about. Dream SMP era is very much big because even though I got like bad mental issues from lockdown, they got crazy amounts of views, subscribers, and some loyal followers. I didn't get that. I didn't get people that were that loyal to me. I didn't get to experience what they were experiencing because I didn't have the confidence due to lockdown. I was actually terrified at the idea of putting myself out there on the internet because I didn't just want to I didn't just want to put myself out there and get bullied in primary school. So I did it in secondary school, which was a bad idea because they were much more abusive with their language. But I guess I should have prepared for that. I'm prepared for it now because it's happened. And some people in school do know about this channel. I mean, they're also way too dumb. And some people, even though I've told them about this channel, haven't really acknowledged this channel, which is hilarious. um, but it was always something I wanted to do. And I got to watch people older than, like slightly older than me, maybe 2, 3 years older than me, and Tommy in it and Tubbo. I got to watch them live basically my dream of playing Minecraft live on stream, playing with people I know, friends. I mean, hell, maybe if I did capitalize on the popularity at the time, maybe I would have actually joined the Dream SMP after a long time. I don't know. You can never tell what would have actually happened because it didn't. It didn't happen unless you're able to time travel and look into a different timeline where it did happen. You would never be able to tell. You would never be able to tell if maybe I would have been really famous. And, like maybe right now I would be streaming to thousands of people rather than just three or four, because that's what my Twitch is. Ultimately, I am I'm not living the dream that I had hoped, but I am seeing, like, I'm able to look back and see what they did and that I'm not doing, and maybe I can progress from there. I mean, I've also kind of decided that maybe I shouldn't, maybe I shouldn't follow what Dream, Tommy, Tubbo, Wilbur, Jack Manifold, Nicky Nearchew, and everyone on the Dream SMP did. Maybe I shouldn't, because maybe that's not what I'm meant to do. I don't know. Maybe it's just not content that I'm good at. Um, what I can very much say in my own personal way is it is something I wish I did. Um, I do wish um that I got to live that kind of life. And in a way, at times, I, in many ways, at times, I wish that I could have been in that position, that Dream, George, Sapnap, Bad Boy Halo, Skeppy, Wilbur, and everyone on the SMP was in, that I did get to participate, because that would have been awesome. Even now, knowing that I probably wouldn't do well in that type of environment, I I don't know. That's still one of my biggest dreams. I still want to make an SMP that have like maybe like 20, 20, maybe 30 people on, because that to me just sounds like an awesome SMP. As long as it's a positive space, I'm fine with it. And honestly, whether or not it's scripted, I do not care. It could be scripted, it could be not scripted. It doesn't really affect me in the end. To me, it would still be an SMP that I'm getting to be a part of. Like, if you look at some of the people that were on the Dream SMP, there's not often did Ant Frost or like not often did some of those people actually get involved with the lawmaking of the SMP. If you really look at it, the biggest people from the lore of the SMP were Wilbur, Dream, Tommy, Tubbo, Quackity, Schlatt, um, Jack Manifold. In some ways, he played quite a part in the lore. Nicky, Techno, um, Filza, Fundy. Fundy definitely played a big role. Rambo. They all played huge roles, and people like Ant Frost, Bad Boy Halo, Skeppy, they were rather looked on, down. They were looked down on, seen as rather side characters by many, including myself. I wanted to try and get involved in the Eggpire storyline, but I couldn't follow it. But not not because I couldn't be asked to try and follow it, but rather because I like going the easy way. Sounds fun. Um, where people basically what happened was um people hadn't made connections as to where these episodes took place because they had waited too long to start a playlist. That's something I always did. Something I still always do, and I probably will always do. Like, if I ever make a SMP that's lore based on this channel, on Twitch, on YouTube, on any platform really, I'm gonna try and make a playlist on YouTube in order of my experienced events, which probably won't always be the most useful, but who knows, you know? But it's also like there was a point, like I think 2024. Um, Sushi knows about this, but someone called Traug had basically said that they were going to set up a SMP series that they had already done in the past, but they were going to remaster it. And I had watched the finale of that series to see what it was like, really, to see how the ending was and what I could possibly play a part in. And the way it was explained to me was very Dream SMP like, and I was very much still in the idea of it. I like, even now, I'm still someone that's highly interested in that. I want to do something like that. But it was just something that couldn't really be remade. You could attempt thousands of times to recreate what Dream SMP had, but it would never feel the same. Not because viewers weren't interested in it anymore, but rather because people were just copying, and people it wasn't 2020 anymore. It was that concept was just dying out, and there wasn't really much anyone could do other than continue making content and just hope that they got big off of it. I'm one of those people that sit here thinking, what could I do as content that could possibly get big, like big views on YouTube and big views on Twitch? Like, what could I possibly do that would do well? And I've heard this like so many times, but it's just be yourself. I've constantly heard that advice. Just be yourself. And even now, I'm not always myself. I'm much more myself when I'm with, like, when I'm on call with Sushi on stream, right? Or like whenever I'm watching his stream and we're talking through that. I'm much more myself that way because it just, to me, it that way I'm not going to be like completely judged. That way I feel more comfortable with it, and it's just how my life kind of goes. I I just wish that people like me who want to be big in the YouTube area were around when like we were streaming and making content when when people like Dream, Wilbur, and that were getting big in 2020 thanks to the Dream SMP. Because I do regret not getting into making videos or recording anything at that point, because who knows, I could have gone big. I mean, I got I got a lot of, I just got picked on a lot, and it felt like a space that I could probably be in to relax, to talk to people, to make friends, and that was life. I ultimately, of course, I'm here now. I'm here now. I'm not a massive content creator. I'm not a former Dream SMP member, but rather I have a Minecraft server of my own that is basically inactive half the time. And if I did have friends that wanted to join the server and stream on it often, the only issue I would say there is the fact that it's used by a website. So I made it using the website atanos.com, .co.org, I think it's .org, atanos.org. And basically the way that works is they themselves, the runners of Atanos, pay for it. They pay for the server themselves using the ads that are provided on the website, to where you basically press turn on server while it's turning on, or before it turns on. It'll sometimes ask you, hey, can we just provide you a bit of advertisement, because we haven't provided you with enough to be able to pay for your server. And so that's how they pay for it. And when you use an ad blocker, you're much less likely to be able to actually use that server more and more often, because eventually they'll just get rid of it because they're not being paid by the ads you are watching to keep the server open. But that's how my servers work. That's how my SMP works. So whenever someone wants to join, they kind of have to message me, because I can access it from my phone and my laptop uh, to turn the server on. And I'm like, cool, I'll do that. I press the button on the website and it turns on. But that's how that has to work. That's not how the Dream SMP worked at all. It wasn't even close. So I'm here now, kind of like wishing I had been in that space because it means I could have opened my own SMP like that. I like it's not really rather I'm jealous of what Tommy, Tubbo, Wilbur, and all that have because I'm gonna tell you now I'm not jealous of what Wilbur has after the allegations, nor am I jealous of what Dream has after the allegations. But I'm like I still support Dream by the way, but I'll make another video on that. I I just wish that I could have experienced it at the time because again it would have been basically my dream come true. But I can't experience that anymore. It doesn't exist. Anyways, this has gone on for long enough, so I'm gonna go. If you guys did enjoy this video, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, make sure to go follow my Twitch. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys later.